Lots of Books fans, this is Scorp1701, and tonight we are going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Spider-Man, the animated series 2-pack of Spider-Man versus the Vulture. And this is going to be a really cool 2-pack. This is the first 2-pack that I've picked up from the Spider-Man the animated series line. We've looked at Venom and Carnage and Spider-Man before, but tonight we're going to get a brand new looking Spider-Man and Vulture. So, taking a look at the box, it comes in a standard closed box. You have Marvel Comics, you have the Spider-Man the animated series logo here, 4+, Spidey and Vulture duking it out here on the cover, Spider-Man versus Marvel's Vulture. Warnings! You have Hasbro. On the top of the box you have Marvel and the Spider-Man the animated series logo, pretty cool. On the left side of the box you have Marvel Comics, Spider-Man the animated series logo, Spider-Man versus Marvel's The Vulture. Again, coming to the right side of the box you have what looks like old-timey VHS cassettes, and this is really cool because you got the one here, it's one and Spider-Man MVL Legends, Marvel Legends of course with Spider-Man, and then you have the number 2 with Marvel's Vulture, MVL, Marvel Legends, the Vulture, and they're looking at each other, grrr, and that is neat. Coming to the bottom of the box you just have some credits for the box, nothing too great there. Finally, coming to the back of the box you have Marvel Comics, Spider-Man, Marvel, you have product shots, Spider-Man versus the Vulture, some more credits for the box, and a barcode, and we will scroll in really close so you can see that. That might help you find this product out in the wild somewhere. Got Hasbro there on the bottom, and that is pretty much it for the packaging. And I don't want to see Spidey and the Vulture in the packaging. I know you don't, so let's open it up, make sure that they're in there because it is a closed box, and have them duke it out in the open. And here we have Spider-Man and the Vulture involved in some high-flying antics, and why Marvel doesn't invest in flight stands, I have no idea, because these figures look awesome in mid-flight poses like this, and thanks to DC Multiverse, we have the flight stands to display them with. But anyway, that's an argument for another day. So these are some very awesome looking figures. We have 2 figures, and when we have to pick just one to review first. And tonight we are going to be taking a look at the high-flying evil Vulture first off. And taking a look at the Vulture here, old Adrian Toomes stands approximately 6.5 inches tall, but he has an impressive wingspan from here to here of 13.25 inches wide. He comes with an alternate head and 2 alternate fists, and we'll take a look at those in just a moment, but first let's get a closer look on our bird of prey. And coming real close in on the Vulture's head sculpt. Now you may notice that this is a very youthful looking head sculpt, and you're asking yourself, is this Adrian Toomes? Is this Adrian Toomes' son? Who is this new Vulture? Well, it is actually Adrian Toomes, and if you stay tuned to our comic talk section where I explain a little bit about why Adrian Toomes looks this way. But anyway, getting back to the figure, taking a look at the head sculpt, it's nicely done. He has a nice full head of hair. It is light brown, and it is going all sorts of ways, coming back underneath this really neat metallic green face mask. I really like that color. It pops really nicely. Got some more hair coming out the bottom of the mask. You got some great facial details in here with some eyebrows and some eyes, a nice sharp nose and some lips, and the chin is covered by the metallic face mask. That is good. Coming down you have his neck, which is open and painted in a flesh tone, and then coming to his full armor on his chest. Now you have this body made up of 3 different greens. Your armor is made up of the metallic green that you saw on his headpiece, and a lime green, which is coming through the sides here and then down for the straps. You also have the bodysuit made up of a darker green. So I like the different greens. This armor piece here does have a lot of cool details. You got a little molded gun in there. I do like the shoulder pads and this just the way this looks. I mean, this is a really cool designed Vulture, and I was surprised that they wasted this on a villain instead of a cool new superhero, but you know, whatever. Coming down, you do have his abs here, and then you have his lime green belt with some yellow capsules on there, and then lime green straps on his upper thighs, and then some more capsules. His gloves are that metallic green. I love that. Has some nice clawed looking hands here with some talons. Gotcha. And then that's pretty much it. The legs are fully green, and it wasn't a lot of detail in this body except with the armor pieces, and that is really cool. Coming around to the back, you do see a couple of slots on the arms, and that's where their wings will attach, and that is cool. Coming to the bottom of the feet, you do have a little bit of copyright detail, Marvel and made in China, and some peg holes if you want to post them somewhere. But for the most part, this is a great looking figure. I like how the new Vulture was done. All right, and that is what your Vulture is going to look like. Moving on. And for articulation with the Vulture, starting at the head, the head can go around 360 degrees. It is on a very nice hinge, so it can hinge down a long way, and it can hinge up a long way, which is a good feature for a flying character. You do get a little wiggly waggly in the head, so that is pretty cool. Coming down to the shoulders, now the shoulders will be slightly hindered by the shoulder pad armor, but that's okay. You can work around it. Shoulders will come up from the body and then back down, and then, like I said, move the shoulder pad around, and you can get the arm going to go around 360 degrees. You do have a bicep rotation, 360 degrees there. Coming down to a double hinged elbow, really good motion there. I love that. There is no forearm rotation, unfortunately, but that will bring you down to the hand, and the hand can go around 360 degrees. This particular hand is hinged, so it can go down, up, in, and out, depending on where you have the hand hinged at. Coming to the center of the body, you have an ab crunch. Get some down, one nice click, back, a couple of clicks. That is cool. You do have waist articulation right here below the belt. That will take them around 360 degrees. A lot of good motion there. Coming to the legs. Legs can kick up really high, almost 90 degrees, if not 90 degrees. Yeah, I'd give it to it 90 degrees there. Can't go back much because the butt gets in the way. Out to the side, you got a little bit there. You do have thigh rotation right here at this band, 360 degrees there, and that will bring you down to a double hinged knee bend. I love that. That is really good motion there, and that will bring you pretty much down to the foot, and then the foot can hinge down, it can hinge up, and it can walk around 360 degrees if you want to rock it that way. All right, and that is going to be Adrian's articulation. A lot of good stuff, only slightly hindered by the shoulder armor, but you can work around it. All right, moving on. And for the Vulture's accessories, first off, he has his alternate older head, and this is the head that a lot of people will recognize, well, it being bald anyway. The face mask is still going to throw a lot of people off because Adrian's classic costume never had a face mask or anything. That only came across for the 90s costume, and that is still pretty neat. And this head sculpt is nicely done. It has a bald chrome dome there, and he has a more mature face with some wrinkles and some more determined eyes. I like that. You can definitely tell that this is a more mature looking head sculpt. So going around the back, you still have your metallic headpiece going around, and this is really cool. Put it on there, and yeah, he looks like the Vulture a little bit more, but this body really goes with the younger head, and I really like that gimmick because it made the Vulture seem a little more vulture-y in more than one way. Alright, and that is going to be your alternate head. And if you're going to be fighting Spider-Man, you're going to need a pair of fisted hands, and these are done in a nice metallic green paint. I love that, and they're just fisted hands that, you know, Adrian could fight and punch out Spider-Man with. Well, he could try to punch out Spider-Man, but mostly he's just going to punch out some minor no-name characters and be about his business. Anyway, fisted hands are always a plus. And for the Vulture's next accessory, he has his wings, and the wings are really cool. They are made up of two little parts. You got a shoulder part here, and then this part, which will go along the main part of his arm. They are designed to where the longer part will sit slightly on top of the smaller part here. You can't really tell, but there's a little bit of indentation here. and that will slide right on the top of it. It doesn't stay. There's not a tabbing mechanism, so it's not going to sit there permanently, and it just like kind of sits on there flush. And then you have your tab systems right here that will go into the side of the arms. If you're not sure which arm, which wing goes onto, you have a little bitty initial right here. Let's see if I can scroll in and see that. There you have a little bitty L right here on this wing, and then you have a little bitty L right here on this wing, right above the tab. So it is really simple to do. You'll bring in your Vulture figure. Hey, hello, Vulture. And then we'll take his left side here and start with the wing. This is the smaller part that will go at the top like this. He'll peg right into there. So you can have him with little bitty wings if you're so inclined. And then let's zoom out a bit. Then we can bring in the longer wing, and it will tab right into his forearm here, right on top, and then it will sit nicely flush onto the smaller wing here. Get this hand out of the way, and that will just tab right into there. And then there you go. You have it on there, and it's not too secure, but I also don't think it's going to fall off unless you like really pull on it. So that is really neat. You can have it on there, and you can do all sorts of things. Bring it up. You can have like a side cut there, or bring it around so you can see how it looks like that. So I really like the wing design on him. This probably is how they do the other ones, like the Falcon and the Captain America, as it were. And yeah, it's a pretty cool design, and that is neat. And that is going to be the Vulture's wings. Moving on. And full comparison with the very limited amount of Marvel Legend villains I have, and actually Venom shouldn't even be in here, but he was started off as a Spider-Man villain. You have the Juggernaut from the Juggernaut Colossus 2-pack. You have a Carnage, the Target exclusive. You have the Walmart exclusive Venom, and then you have the Destroyer that came with the Eric Masterson Thor 2-pack. And yeah, this is a pretty good group of villains. Most of them are from 2-packs, but hey, you know, I take what I can get. Maybe one day I'll start a villains collection. But for now, this is what you get. Alright, moving on. And without further ado, that brings us to the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. So let's take a look at our favorite wall crawler. And taking a look at Spidey, he stands approximately 6.5 inches tall. He comes with some alternate hands, a mask, and a alternate head. And a lot of you are going to be saying, well, this is just the Walmart exclusive Spider-Man repainted. And it is not. As a matter of fact, we can bring out the Walmart exclusive Spider-Man, and taking a look at them, they are slightly different, mostly in the torso area. There may be reuse in the arms and the legs, but if we zoom in really closely, you can see that the Walmart exclusive ab goes all the way across like in a round motion, and then the new Vulture Spider-Man one goes up and then around at a sharper angle. So the ab section is different on both of these figures. Also, the accessories are slightly different, but anyway, we're here to talk about this Spider-Man and not that Spider-Man. So let's get a closer look at the webhead himself. And coming in real close on the Spider-Man head mold, well, it is a Spider-Man head mold. You don't get much classic than this. You have a nice bright red mask with a cobweb pattern, bright white eyes outlined in black. Love the classic Spider-Man suit, and yeah, it's great. I like the cobwebs, that they are not too close together. You got the little spot right here between the eyes. I like having that there. And coming around to the back, yeah, it just carries all the way through. I love it. Coming out, we will zoom and see his costume is basically red and blue, like every good Spider-Man costume should be. And you do have the continuing cobweb effect going all the way down. Now, this is interesting. The spider symbol is clear of the cobwebs. They give it a wide berth. It's not right on top of it, so you got a little space in there. And then you have the darker blues underneath the arms, coming down to the legs. The top of the shoulder is red, down to the gloves. You got the red boots on the bottom. You got some copyright material and peg holes if you want to post Spider-Man somewhere. Coming to the back, now this is always a plus. You have to have the red spider on the back. That makes it the Spider-Man. Now, it's sort of like the yellow S on the back of Superman's cape. If it's not there, you're missing something. Now, I mean, a lot of people aren't even going to see the figure from the back, but just that he's there, it's great. Now, the spider is done really well, but when you open the arms, the legs do extend a little bit and it kind of looks silly, but what are you going to do? I would much rather have the paint there and have the crazy elongated legs than to not have it there, and when you have the arms like this, you just have blank or blue. So yeah, you can't win for losing. You put the arms in like that, you got a pretty good looking spider. So yeah, I love this guy. This is an awesome Spider-Man costume, and yeah, it doesn't get, again, more classic than this, even for the animated series. All right, and that is what your Spider-Man is going to look like. Moving on. And for Spidey articulation, now this is where this guy is really gonna shine. Starting at the head can go around 360 degrees. It is hinged, so it can go down a long way, it can go up a long way. You do get a little bit of tilt left and right in the head, so that is cool. Coming to the shoulders, shoulders are on a butterfly. They can come forward a lot, they can go back a lot more, they can go up from the body, they can go down from the body, they can go around 360 degrees. You do have bicep rotation, 360 degrees there. Double hinged elbow gets you a long range look at that. That is crazy. Coming down, there is no forearm rotation. You do have hand rotation, 360 degrees. It is hinged, so depending on where you have it placed, you can go in and out, up or down. So that is neat. Coming to the center of the body, you do have ab crunch. Going down that far, back that far, that is really nice hinged there. Have 360 degree waist articulation at the belt, so that is cool. Coming to the legs, legs can kick up a long way, about 90 degrees. They can't kick back very far because the butt gets in the way. Out to the side a little bit more than back, definitely. You have 360 degree thigh rotation, coming down to a double hinged knee bend, gets you a good back kicking all the way, and that will bring you down to his boot cut, 360 degrees there, coming down to a foot articulation, hinged down and up, and rocks 360 degrees around. That is really cool, very impressive. He can bend, he can twist all sorts of ways. Not much that you could ask for this guy that he doesn't have. Maybe toe articulation, maybe something up here at the forearm, but I'm not too unhappy about it. So that is really cool. Looking at this guy, I love it. He is very flexy. Now, some people might argue about the hinge under the arm being red as opposed to why they didn't just paint it blue, because it's the same hinge on the top. And definitely, if you're going to have one color, you'd probably want to have the red, because you're going to see that more than you would be under here. If you want to, I'm sure you could paint that blue. But anyway, that is cool. This articulation is awesome. All right. Moving on. And for Spider-Man's first accessory, he comes with an alternate Peter Parker animated head, so that is really nicely done. Got a big, huge head of hair there, brown, nice hazel eyes or green eyes. Got some eyebrows and a nice sharp nose and mouth. I really like the way this came out, and it's really cool. Wears it really well. Kind of strange though. I mean, seeing him without his mask, and it's okay, I guess. So anyway, that is the alternate head. And for accessories, Spider-Man comes with 3 sets of alternate hands. He comes with a pair of punching hands. Like any good superhero needs, he has to punch the villains. That is really neat. Next off, he comes with a pair of thwipping hands, and Spider-Man's definitely going to need some thwipping hands if he's going to be swinging around the city. And finally, Spider-Man comes with a pair of item-holding hands. if you find some items for him to hold, which he does have one. So, speaking of items he has to hold, Spider-Man comes with a nice folded mask. And it's really cool. It's just a little piece, and it has a little tab up here at the top where he can fit it into his hand and walk around with it. It's like, I am Peter Parker! So that is cool. I think it's a neat idea. I think this might be the first time we've ever gotten a piece like this. It's something that goes good if you want to play around with your figures a lot. Alright, and that is going to be Spider-Man's accessories. Moving on. And for the last accessory in the box, you have the Flash Thompson head sculpt. Now, not exactly sure why they put this in there. I guess he was in the episodes that featured the Vulture and Spider-Man, so I guess it works in that respect. Spider-Man was also one of his heroes, so you could put the head on the Spider-Man body, and that would look alright. And who knows, maybe Flash got lucky later on and stole the Vulture's armor, so you could put the head on that body and have him fly around a little bit. So that's fun. Hey, why not? Flash Thompson head, maybe they'll give us a body somewhere down the line. But anyway, that is a cool little insert. And that is all your accessories. Moving on. And full comparison, here you have the Vulture Spider-Man 2-pack with the retro carded Spider-Man and the Renew Your Vows 2-pack with Spinneret. And I think each of these Spider-Man look good in their own way, but I think there's been improvements to them all. Like the original one that we took a look at here with the retro carded Spider-Man was okay. I think the cobwebs were a little too close together. As you can see, it's covering all the way in the chest and you got the spider in the middle there, but that's okay because, you know, the spider's on top of the cobwebs running around. You do have the red pins right here underneath the joint, so that was kind of ugly. But then you had the Renew Your Vows, which had a wider cobweb pattern, which I liked. The spider I think was too big, and the blues were a little dark for my taste. And then you have the new one where the cobwebs are a nice distance, the spider isn't too big, and the blues are a little brighter. And yeah, I just think this is a better looking Spider-Man than these two, but not that these two are bad. It's just, again, the aesthetic is different. So the figures are all unique, but still have a great classic look to them. Coming around to the back, you can see they're pretty much the same here too. The retro carded has the red spider, but it's contained on this back panel. And the other two, they do have the spider going across the limbs. Now, we already saw the Vulture Spider-Man that has the paint is connected and the legs go wide, but on the Renew Your Vows, if you pull these out, you see there's the gap in the paint. Well, on the right side, the left side, it just goes completely more red, so I don't exactly know what that's all about, but still unique and different, and I like each of these Spider-Man in their own way. Alright, and since we have them all three out here together, let's do some fun head swaps. First off, we'll take our Spider-Man from tonight and try his head on the other two bodies. So yeah, it looks okay on the retro Spider-Man and looks pretty good on the Renew Your Vows. I like it. And let's try it the other way around with the retro and the Renew Your Vows on the animated body. So yeah, that's good. Even the retro carded with the cobweb pattern does look pretty good here, and I really like the way that the Renew Your Vows fits on there. It looks very proportionate, so the colors aren't bad at all with either of these two swaps. Let's try the animated Peter Parker head next. Alright, that looks pretty good on all three of those bodies. Like it. And how about the comic accurate Peter Parker head? That looks good. No complaints there. I actually really like that better than the animated head, but that's my preference. And since I have Flash Thompson's head here and don't have anything else to do with it, let's see how he looks on all three Spider-Man. That's pretty neat. Alright, and that is going to be your comparisons with the three Spider-Man here. So let's see what else we got. And full comparison with some supporting cast members. Here you have the Walmart exclusive Venom, the Mary Jane Spinneret from the Renew Your Vows 2-pack, and the Spider-Man 2099 from Across the Spider-Verse. and that is really cool. I like these spider people. Spider-Man has got a very vast and colorful cast of supporting characters and villains likewise, and it's fun to have them in action figure form. Alright, and that is going to be your comparisons. Moving on. And this has been the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Spider-Man, the animated series, Spider-Man vs. Vulture VHS 2-pack. And this has been a very fun little 2-pack to play around with. We got a brand new Vulture figure, which was really articulated, a lot of detailed in his costume. I love the way he looks. He is pretty huge. His wings just go out forever, and they clip right onto the side of his arms, which is really easy to do. I like that. I like the fact that they gave him the alternate old man Tomb's head. A lot of people would appreciate that because that's how they remember the Vulture looking, with an older, balder head. The Spider-Man was really nicely done. I like the articulation with it. I like the colors. The hands were good. The only thing I could say, I think they could have thrown in some wall crawling hands, but for the most part, it was great. This 2-pack has a lot of playability to it. They threw in the Flash Thompson head. You could put that on a couple things if you have extra bodies laying around. Maybe even your Agent Venom. If you had an Agent Venom figure, it might fit on there. Looks really good. So yeah, there's not really anything to complain about with this set. Classic Spider-Man is always going to be a hit, I think. And it seems like every new Spider-Man Marvel Legends gives us a little bit better. And I think that is going to accumulate into their brand new series, the Marvel Maximum series. The Maximum series is supposed to be the ultimate of all Spider-Man stuff. Maximum, I guess, is to be more accurate. And you're going to have a brand new Spider-Man figure. He's going to be fully articulated, and he's just going to have a whole box full of accessories and goodies. Now, this reminds me a lot of the Mayfix Spider-Man that have been coming out, and I'm wondering if Hasbro is going to try to do the same thing that Mayfix does. And if that's the case, this Maximum series is going to be a really, really expensive series. Now, they haven't announced the price that I know of, but I'm thinking this thing is going to be somewhere around $40-45, which isn't as bad as Mayfix, because Mayfix are about $100 and something, but those are imports. I don't know if this is going to be a series that works very well for Hasbro, because if they charge too much for it, I don't think it's gonna sell. But that's just my opinion. We'll see later on how much it costs and how well it does when it comes out. But anyway, that is going to be these two awesome figures. That's pretty much all I can say about this 2-pack. Very nice, very well done. If you are looking for this particular 2-pack, it was a Hasbro Pulse exclusive. It has since sold out. It went for $50. Now the only place to find it is on your second-hand marketplaces, but it's probably going to go for over $150 wherever you find it. But if you're looking, happy hunting. And that's it, guys. That's the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you'd like, stay tuned to After the Card, and we could talk a little bit about the comics that you see in the background here. But if you gotta go, then have a great night, and until next time, keep playing. And welcome back, Bots and Books fans, to Comic Talk. This is the little segment where we talk a little bit about the comic books that were in the box during the review. Now, tonight's review was about Spider-Man the Animated Series toys, and the figures that were in question were from the second season episodes Neogenic Nightmare, or chapter 13 and 14. Those were the last two episodes of the season. That's where the Vulture came and basically took Spider-Man's youth. But that was an adaptation of the Life Theft series, as you can see here, from the Amazing Spider-Man 386 to 388 back in 93, I think. And this was a very awesome series drawn by Mark Bagley, one of my favorite Spider-Man artists. Started in the Amazing Spider-Man 386 here, and this is where the Vulture, Adrian Toomes, in his old form, decided to break out of prison, and then he had learned about this gauntlets that would suck people's youth and make him young. And then Spider-Man found out he escaped, and they went after him, and then eventually they get into a fight. Adrian Toomes gets the gauntlets and uses them on Spider-Man, and turns him really old and decrepit. And this is interesting episode where Spider-Man's trying to do things, and he's all old, and his costume's falling off of him, and the Vulture's all happy and excited and super strong because he's got Spider-Man's power. But eventually it wears off, and he's like, no, I gotta do that again. And then the Chameleon comes and finds the Vulture and asks him to help to, work with him. And this is also the time when Spider-Man's parents are around, and they're not really his parents, and it all comes to a head in Life Theft Chapter 3 and 388, The Amazing Spider-Man double-sized issue. Very nice cover, very shiny and blue. Mark Bagley was good enough to sign this for me at one of the comic shops that I met him at. And this episode is where Spider-Man confronts the Vulture, and in 387, Peter tells his parents that he is Spider-Man, and that is the information that the parents need to turn into the hideous creatures that they are, and they are robots. And this episode, Spider-Man fights the Vulture, he fights the Chameleon, he fights this robot duplicate of his dad that turns into this huge monster, and he fights, and then the Vulture comes and tries to suck Spider-Man's energy again, but it gets his mom, who's also a robot, and then he gets turned into this emotionless, creepy, deadpan. I don't know exactly where they were going with that. I don't think I ever caught what happened with the Vulture afterwards, but still, it was a very exciting story. Very sad because Peter's mom dies, and then dad dies, and it was very sad. And then Peter Parker gets all upset, and this leads into Pursuit, which was a very cool storyline as well. So this is some really good reading if you like The Amazing Spider-Man, and you can find these books. They're really nice. Mark Bagley, Amazing Spider-Man 386 through 388. All right, and that has been Comic Talk. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of comic history. Have a good night, and I'll see you next time.